Good morning, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here. It's Monday. It's 10 a.m. Eastern. That means it's time for Packers Daily here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. I know I did. Wherever you are, I saw people already checking in from overseas, all across the country. It's what we do here. We talk Packers with Packers fans worldwide. Good to see everybody. I hope everyone's checking out Underdog Fantasy. It's the best and easiest place to play fantasy football for big cash prizes. On Underdog Fantasy, you just draft. No need to worry about waivers, lineups, or injuries. Underdog handles that all for you. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app. Draft a season-long best ball team, and that's it. No in-season management. You get a free $25 right now in bonus cash if you use the code Cheesehead. That's code Cheesehead when you make your first deposit, and you can take your shot at $1 million grand prize in their fantasy football tournament. So don't wait. Now's the time. Get on Underdog Fantasy and get ready for your fantasy season in 2021. Hello to everybody in the comments section. Good morning, Pogs. How are you? Good to see you, Sean. What's up? Sandy, hello from the Bears Still Suck in Illinois. Hello from New York. Hope you're doing well. Good to see everybody. And as the title indicates, I thought I'd highlight a few training camp battles I'm going to be looking at when I head to Wisconsin. Now, in less than a week, that's right, I will be in the good land a week from today, ready for whatever nonsense Mark Murphy has prepared for shareholders meeting. I will be there. Kind of surreal. Can't believe we've made it this far. Just a little bit longer to go. Training camp right around the corner. And like I said, I wanted to look at a few camp battles, starting off with Kevin King versus Eric Stokes. I think this is probably the highlight, the one a lot of people are going to be watching. No doubt, they brought Kevin King back for a reason, the familiarity mostly, but he is undoubtedly coming off his worst season. I don't think there's any kind of two ways about that. And I know they have said, Brian Kudigans has mentioned how much they do like Kevin when he is on the field, but he has missed a ton of games. In fact, 23 out of the 68 games he has missed due to various injuries, including shoulder, concussion, groin, hamstring, a second shoulder, and a quadriceps in 2020. King was penalized 6 times last year, broke up just 5 passes, and didn't have a single interception. This, the year after he led the team in interceptions. Now, you have to think, when a team presents you with Jair Alexander on one side, and they ain't throwing at Jair, your opportunities are going to be plentiful. And to come off a season with not one interception, playing opposite Jair Alexander, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow. But clearly, Brian valued the familiarity there. And so far in the offseason, not that this means much, but they've been lining up with King opposite Jair with the starters. Now, I expect Stokes to be given every opportunity to compete, not necessarily like go win the job, but to compete for that job. Stokes ran as we all know, he's insanely fast, a 4.29 40. Was a sticky guy in coverage, struggled against the run at Georgia, but as they always used to say, as long as you're taking the ball away and covering your man like a blanket, I don't really mind that you can't stand up against the run. Lord knows we've had greats throughout the entirety of the NFL who were great cover corners who were less than stellar against the run. And I'm not painting him with that brush yet. There have been guys who've arrived in the NFL and continued to develop that physical nature. So I'm not completely dismissing the possibility that could happen. I'm very anxious to see how this one plays out. I think Stokes is going to definitely give Kevin King a run for his money. I suspect the new scheme, the implementation of it, will give Stokes maybe not a leg up, but pretty much even the playing field as far as Kevin probably learning along with Stokes as far as the intricacies of the defense, and that should help Stokes' case. But I still suspect they'll start the year with Kevin King, although I would also expect Stokes to take over at some point throughout the season. When do I think you realistically hear from Rodgers? Nobody cares about no camp battles, Nagler. Everybody wants to know about Aaron Rodgers. Next week sometime, probably those first 2 days of the week prior to camp and veterans having to report. But we'll see. Long way to go. Go, Pack, go. What's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Hey, Aaron. I like Kevin as a player based just on skill, but his football IQ is subpar at best. So if Stokes doesn't win this job, we're in trouble. I disagree with that last part. Familiarity is a big thing. Continuity is a big thing. And you can have all the smarts in the world and still, make a wrong read, react too suddenly, get out over your skis, so to speak. Just because a rookie doesn't win a job, even if he's a first-round pick, doesn't mean it's time to panic. I mean, Rashawn Gary wasn't a starter coming off his rookie mini training camp, and he's turning out pretty damn good. I agree with you on the fact that Kevin has struggled as far as identification and playing to the sticks and things like that, but I don't think it's trouble if Eric Stokes doesn't win that job. TKM, good to see your post. Thanks for the super chat. Nags, I was on Facebook and Matt Ramage asked if I watched Cheesehead TV and I responded, Nagler's never right, to which another attacked me for disrespecting you. Get back to Nagler's never right. I had to retire Nagler's never right. I was right too much. It was bad for the brand. Don't worry, TKM. The OGs know what you mean. The OGs know what you mean. Got to make sure I don't miss any super chats. All right. Okay, next camp battle I wanted to highlight is kind of a triple header at the inside linebacker spot. Got Devondre Campbell, Kamal Martin, and Chris Barnes. Any one of these guys could jump up and take over as the lead dog, so to speak. I suspect. I am excited for Campbell. There's no doubt about it. He was a model of consistency both in Arizona and Atlanta. They had a guy they drafted high that they want to get on the field. That's why he was available in free agency. Yes, it's a bit of a Band-Aid, but I think it's as I've said this offseason, I think it's a super strength, industrial size Band-Aid. Campbell finished last season in Arizona with 99 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 3 pass breakups, and a forced fumble. 6'4", 232. He has unique length and a noticeable ability in coverage that has been lacking, one might say, in the middle of the field for the Packers. So that in and of itself should give him a leg up and or opportunity to make his name early and often in camp. Barnes obviously jumped up off of the undrafted ranks last year, starting week 1 to the surprise of many, including myself. Led the team with 91 tackles, tied for the team lead, with 91 tackles, and led the Packers with 4.5 tackles for loss. He also missed just 6 tackles throughout the entirety of the season. Steady player. I don't think anyone's ever going to mistake him for the second coming of Ray Lewis, but you could do a lot worse in the middle there, and the Packers have. No doubt about it. Finally, Kamal Martin missed the first 5 games of 2020 after having surgery to repair a meniscus damage in his left knee. Kid's got good size. He was all over the map last year, played with his hair on fire, not always in a good way. Really had trouble overrunning stuff, taking false steps, wrong place, wrong time. However, his physicality jumps off the screen, the field, the grass, what have you. If he can learn just to keep himself under control, arrive in balance, then the Packers could be cooking with gas with Kamal Martin. I'm very fascinated to see how these guys compete in training camp, because I do think, while none of them are going to be elite, they could form a very solid nucleus for the middle of this Packers defense. We'll see what we got there once training camp starts. Sean, thanks for the super chat. Who's the best center at 1265? Myers Jenkins or Larry McCarron? What's it like getting to work with The Rock? Man, obviously I've never gotten to work with Larry, but I did. When I was on the beat, we talked a lot, and the man is absolutely 100% genuine. Watches and looks at everything when it comes to Packers coverage. I remember when I started on the beat, and I think I've said this before. My very first day covering the team, he said, "Aaron Nagler, I really like your stuff. I've watched your Facebooks, and I've read your stuff on Cheesehead TV, blah blah." And it was really nice of him. He didn't have to do that, even if he wasn't really watching. Although he's later indicated that he really has. Yeah, just a great guy. As far as the best center at 1265, I mean, right now it's probably Larry McCarron. Come on, guy looks like he could lace him up today. What else we got? Did that one. All right. Okay. Next camp battle. This one's shout out to Oz out in Colorado. This is for you, buddy. Patrick Taylor versus Kyleen Hill. I know everybody's very interested to see what happens at the running back 3 spot. Clearly, number 1 and 2 are locked up. Thunder and Lightning. We've got A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Pick your order. I think it's going to be dependent on what opponent they're facing, what the game plan is, how they think it's best to attack the opponent. That will be your lead dog. And whoever gets hot in the game will probably be given a lot more opportunities. But then at 3, it's an important spot. And this is not something you can just dismiss, because not only do you have to be ready at a moment's notice in case there's an injury to one of these two guys, but you have to. If you're a running back 3, you absolutely 1,000% have to contribute on special teams. That is the way you make the squad. And that is why I would suspect Dexter Williams is on the outside looking in. He has shown on a number of occasions that the job on teams is a bit too much for him. The physicality does not translate. He had showed some physical traits at Notre Dame, but that has not translated to special teams in the NFL. Coupled with the fact that he has, 7 career rushing attempts now for a whopping 19 yards. Cannot seem to get on the field and stay there. He had an opportunity out in San Francisco last year and promptly got hurt. I think this is the battle, Patrick Taylor versus Hill. Look, I'm not going to pretend to know a ton about either one of these guys. I do think Hill's tape is exciting as far as his physicality. I do wonder if he can hold up in the passing game, both catching the football and protecting the quarterback. I know very little about Patrick Taylor, but I'm very excited to see him on the field. These are two guys that are going to have to bring it down in and down out. They're going to have to make plays. And the number one job you got to show that you can handle is protecting the quarterback. Anybody can run the football. You're not making it in the NFL. You didn't make an NFL roster, even if it is the 90-man variety, without being able to carry the football as a running back. That's just not going to happen. Now, can you do the little things? Can you make the adjustments? Are you up to it when it comes to adjustments at the line of scrimmage? Everything that's being asked of you when it comes to reading coverages or reading blitzes. Those are the things that are going to separate. And then the number one physical job is stepping up in the pocket when they have an A-gap blitz and taking on that humongous linebacker that's coming to tear your quarterback's head off. Can Taylor or Hill be adequate? I don't even need them to star at that skill. I need them to be adequate to give the quarterback time and make the proper reads, step in there, get their leverage right, and eliminate the oncoming rusher. That is the number one thing I'm going to be watching for when these guys hit the field next week. Next week. Of course, they probably won't be doing much of that until 2 weeks from now, because that first week they won't be wearing pads, since now they take forever and they have like Club Med type training camps these days. Oh. Will Aaron retire when the Bucs win their championship? Kurt, I doubt it, but you never know. Mm-hmm. Keeping 4 running backs and or 5 tight ends, Brandon, it's a possibility. It really depends on how the numbers shake out, and it really depends on how guys at the bottom of the depth chart play out on special teams, because that's going to be your deciding factor, right? If you've got, say, Taylor and Hill absolutely decimating guys on special teams, and for whatever it may, Jace Sternberger and whoever else not stepping up on teams, then that makes the decision for you. Dependent on how they're playing in camp, how they're showing up on offense, things like that. But the deciding factor almost always on the bottom of that roster is going to be teams. That's why we always talk about, that is your number one way to the roster. As a young guy, as a guy who's on the bubble, you got to make your bones on teams. You got to show that you're not only up for it physically, but you can handle whatever adjustments and wrinkles that the new coordinator brings in. Goodness knows we don't want to just keep doing what they've been doing the last couple of years. Loved your comments on the soulless Vikes. Testify. Danny, I saw that got resurfaced. I was on a Vikings podcast last week, and I think Matt Ramage re-upped my appearance on his show from earlier this offseason. I mean, come on. The Vikings are a plastic franchise. We all know this. There's nothing real. There. Make or break for Sternberger? Ryan, 1,000,000,000% yes. Not even a question. The final camp battle I'm going to be looking at, the one that I really think is going to be fascinating to watch play out, is basically the bottom of the wide receiver depth chart. Now, this includes Amari Rodgers just because, and I know he's a third-round pick, and I know there's no way he doesn't make the roster, but where does he end up in the pecking order? How much do they utilize him? How much do they trust him? He's battling with Devin Funchess and Equanimeous St. Brown as far as not only who's on the roster, but like I said, I know Rodgers undoubtedly makes it, unless he completely falls on his face in camp. But yeah, where do they end up, and who ends up on the squad and who's on the outside looking in? Clearly, that's between most likely EQ and Funchess. I think if EQ can just stay healthy, he's still got something to offer. but he's got to contribute on teams at this point. And I know he hasn't done a ton of that up to now in his NFL career, but if he's going to make this roster, he's going to have to do that. Funchess and EQ both provide a big body. Funchess obviously has the pelts on the wall when it comes to producing in the NFL. Clearly has not done that in Green Bay yet. But if given the opportunity, I think he can make some noise in this offense. I think he suits what they like to do. Been away from football for a year. We'll see what kind of rust has formed and if he can hit the ground running with Aaron Rodgers or Jordan Love under center. EQ, I think, has a battle, and he's got to make a play every single day. And that's not necessarily catching the football, just a great block, making the right read, something that gets put on film that the coaches can notice every single day. If he can do that, then he's got a shot. But how these three kind of end up on the depth chart and or pecking order as far as usage towards the end of camp is what is going to be pretty fascinating to watch play out in my eyes. Were the Vikings fans podcast nice to you? Oh, well, it's Matt who covers the team. Matt Collar, he's an impartial journalist, so he thinks it's funny that I make fun of Vikings fans. So that's kind of why he has me on, because it kind of stirs up the hornet's nest, so to speak. But yeah, no, they're fine. I think most Vikings fans understand that a lot of it is tongue in cheek. I mean, I'm able to look at the team dispassionately and kind of judge it on the outside looking in, but also troll them when they need it, which is often. But yeah, I think most Vikings fans understand the spirit I'm giving that. Go Pack Go, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Amari will be a stud. Obviously, that's all speculation, but I believe Amari Rodgers will be a good returner and his hands will get Rodgers' attention. Well, the returning gig is where he'll make his mark. There's no doubt about it. Now, maybe he gets used early in the season. I hope so. But that's no guarantee. What I will take to the bank right now, sitting here on July 19th, is he is going to be the returner. They have already said, both coach and GM, that is going to be his job. So that will be handed to him, and hopefully he hits the ground running and has a big return right away, and we all get really excited. How tired are you of hearing stories from the clown Adam Schefter? Seems like he has an agenda. Yeah, I've talked about this a lot all offseason. I think Adam's doing his job. I think, he is an information collector, and he is leaning into the folks who give him the information. I think that's as easy as I can put it. I don't think he's a clown. I think he's really good at his job. I mean, you're talking about him. ESPN is getting hits and clicks and engagement because of Adam Schefter. A lot of it, too. Man is really good at his job. I've lived with Vikings fans my whole life. They are a bitter bunch. Yeah, no doubt. EQ needs a play that ignites his passion like Lazard versus the Lions. Brandy, that wouldn't hurt. I don't think it's easy to get one of those in the midst of training camp and or a preseason game, but he needs something to light a fire. There's no doubt about it. I see that. Go Pack Go. Thanks again. Week 1 versus the Saints. Maybe we have a Randall Cobb repeat-like situation and Amari makes his mark returning a ball for a touchdown. I would absolutely love that. That would be amazing. Get a spark right out of the gate. I mean, there are worse ways to announce your presence in the NFL without like a big return. Not as bitter as Bears fans. The worst, Sandy, I hear you. There is so much speculation and so little from the actual mouth of Aaron Rodgers. It's all clicks. Yeah, speaking of wanting clicks and engagement, send us a voicemail. Leave us a voicemail here at Cheesehead TV. I wasn't going to do this, but someone just mentioned clicks, so I might as well get some, right? Hey, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to show up next week? Why or why not? Call us, 877-558-CHTV. That's 877-558-2488. Let us know. Leave us a voicemail. Is Aaron Rodgers going to show up next week? Yes or no? Tell us why or why not. Blatant Aaron Rodgers speculation engaged. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I am talking about, people. Joe's Home Theater, thanks for the super chat. AJ Dillon, second-year explosion, 800-plus rushing. Book it. Book it, says Joe's Home Theater. I'm all for booking it. I'm down. I think that I'll take the over on that and give me 7 touchdowns as well. That's what I'm all about. All right, everybody. Can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day. Hit up Underdog Fantasy, underdogfantasy.com. Use code Cheesehead. That's code Cheesehead to get your free $25 deposit. Go win that $1 million, man, and tell them Cheesehead TV sent you. Can't thank you guys enough. Please hit like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Heads up, Patreon members. The Patreon happy hour is on Tuesday this week. That's tomorrow night. Because it is my baby Violet's birthday on Wednesday, and I'll be busy. So Tuesday night, Patreon happy hour. Book it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day right here on Packers Daily. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Go Pack Go.